That's enough. Stop. Roll the intro.
Ready, Bill? Ready, Jed. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Be excellent to each other and party on, dudes.
Welcome back to Most Excellent Adventures. Today I'm going to go over all of the Mandalorian armor pieces that I have so far from my Mandalorian cosplay. I'm cosplaying Din Djarin from The Mandalorian. If you guys haven't watched, check it out, Disney Plus. They got 2 seasons. Season 2 was phenomenal. Season 2 is now over by the time you're watching, by the time you're watching this, Season 2 is over. So I'm going to go over all of my parts and, if possible, post links to every piece that I have where you can purchase these parts. And I'm going to go over the process of what I'm going to do with my armor, how I'm going to, work with it, shape it, paint it, things like that. A lot of the things I'm using are 3D printed. My helmet is made of resin. I'm going to start going over all of my pieces now with you, starting with the helmet. This is my Din Djarin Mandalorian, the Mandalorian helmet. As you can see, it's kind of flimsy here, but it is thick, hard resin. It's resin casted. And the reason it's just soft or pliable, bendable here is because we don't have the visor mounted yet. I got this helmet from Etsy, and in the description below, I'm going to post the item, whether it's available or not. I'm not 100%. So the work I've done on this helmet so far, that I did not film because I didn't have this cool camera at the time, this is a raw cast. It's already pretty smooth, but the outside edge here and the TV visor part was still filled in with this gray resin, and I don't own a Dremel, so I have to do this by hand. I took a hacksaw blade, took it off the saw, and I just ran the blade along all parts of this helmet, and I cleaned it up, and then I put some foam on the inside. This is probably going to be temporary. I don't know if I'm going to 100% keep the white foam on the inside, but it helps the helmet stay on my head so I can see out of it, and it prevents wiggle. And it does a really good job, and it was really reasonable. And the second thing that I got to go with the helmet is the visor here. This visor, and I'll post a link below. I got this off Etsy as well. It's a thick, really thick visor. I don't know if you guys can see that. I haven't mounted this in yet. I'm probably going to mount it with some Velcro. That way I can take it in and out for cleaning. It was already pre-bent, but I have bent it a little bit more to fit the inside of this helmet better. But I think once I add the Velcro, it'll definitely seat better inside of the helmet. So I just popped the visor back in. It's not completely like seated or anything, so it still moves around. Yeah, that's my helmet. So the next piece we're going to talk about is my 3D printed blaster right here. Now, as you can tell, this white stuff, that's super glue, where I've already put this together. It came in a million different pieces. But that's it right there. And it's 3D printed. And it's very durable 3D print. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sand this down. And then what I'm going to do for all of my 3D print parts, so I'm not repeating myself 100 times about it, is I'm going to use a photopolymer resin. What that is, it is the resin you pour into a 3D printer that do resin like minis. Like they print resin, and they're really smooth, and you don't have to worry about all these 3D print lines. There you go. You guys can see all these 3D print lines, and you can hear them. But this is my blaster. It's really cool. I'm gonna have to paint everything, even though some of these are already printed the color. I'm definitely gonna paint this, and I'm getting an airbrush to paint a lot of my armor. So, but this is the blaster. It's already here. It's halfway done. Just got to do the finishing touches. Guy that I bought the blaster from also sells the grief charges that are on Mando's belt. You know, you guys see them like blink. They're pretty much like the sticky bombs. He sticks onto something and then they blow up. So I bought 3 of these, and the inside, the little transparent red piece pops out, and it's pretty hollow in there, so you just pop it right through, and it sits. But I'm probably gonna glue it. But there's plenty of room back there to put the LEDs. Another thing I bought were these shells that go in the rifle. They're usually on Mando's like bandolier or around his shin. Next piece of my Mandalorian armor that I got is the knee armor, and as you can see, it has dents in it where it's supposed to be damaged. Season 1, but pre-Beskar, he had this. Season 1 Beskar, he did not. And then Season 2, he has this again, and it has the little darts that go in the blaster dart things, knee darts. I don't know. A lot of people call them different things. But they just sit in there like that. I'm going to try to turn it sideways without them falling out. This has got to be sanded and painted as well. And if these dents aren't there for Season 2, because that's what I'm going for, Season 2 look. But if these dents aren't there, I can always fill them in with like some Bondo. The next pieces we're going to talk about are the hand plates, 3D printed as well, except these are way, way thinner. But they're just going on top of your hands, so you don't really need like it to be too thick because it's going on top of gloves. Another piece I have that I'm going to be working on is what a lot of people call like the Shore Trooper shin. So mine is 2 halves, and this goes on your right leg, and this is where it's going to have like a leather strap around this way with the shells for the pulse rifle, but you have this clamshell shape. What I'm probably going to do is put some elastic bands on the inside, so when I slide my foot through there, it just stretches apart and goes right back together, so it fits flush against my leg. Not really worried about the seam too much. Here in the front, this other piece gets attached to the front, and then you have this piece here. It goes right up under there, and that's all got to be glued together. Let's move on to a pretty big piece, the chest plate, the breastplate. See, everything just fits me perfect that I ordered. This came from the same person I got the shin plate from. So shin plate, pauldrons, gauntlets, thigh pieces, abdominal plate. Most of the armor you're going to see I bought as a set, and the diamond right here goes in, so you'll have to glue that together. And then you have the ab plate that goes right up underneath it. And I'm going to have an elastic strap here, so it moves up and down whenever I move, so it'll be a little bit comfortable. And you can hear that 3D print lines whenever I move. And this is some pretty thick 3D prints, so I'm not worried about this breaking at all. And using the photopolymer resin will add an extra layer onto these, so they'll be a little bit heavier, but definitely got a lot of sanding to do on these. The next pieces are your hip plates. The next pieces I would like to talk about are the gauntlets. This looks like an empty shell, and they're not clamshelled, so your arm has to fit in these. And they slide right over my hand, no problem, but that doesn't bother me because look at all this extra room I have. Once I have the flight suit on, I don't think that will be a problem at all. Now this is for the whistling birds, which I have this piece right here. And now the holes are drilled out, and it's hollow on the inside, so you can run your LED lights in there for your whistling birds, and it just goes on top. And then also right here, the computer pad piece. It glues right on in. Haven't done any of that yet. Other gauntlet here slides on, and I've got an extra piece that goes on the back of it. And then there's supposed to be a computer screen back here. I'm just gonna probably put some red LEDs back there. And this one slides on the same way. And like I said, once I have my flight suit on, I don't expect these to move around so much. And if they do, I'll just slap on some Velcro so that way they seat in place. But I like how they're not like super tight, and I do like how they're not clamshelled and they're all just one piece. So it's easier for me to sand and piece together, unlike the shin piece, which is two pieces. The next pieces are the thigh plates. This is for left leg. And this is season 1 Beskar that has been patched. As you can tell, this one looks a little different because it's actually been sanded. It doesn't have that. You hear the difference? This one was sanded a little bit here, and it's pretty smooth. But this is going to be my test piece. I have kind of sanded here. It's still got that 3D print lines, and this one's pretty much sanded. This is my test piece for photopolymer resin. Better if it's sanded before and then sanded again, or just leave plain and then sand one time with a bunch of different grits. So this is definitely going to be my test piece. This is the right thigh, but I'm not going to be using this one in my cosplay. I might not, but I know I'm getting the season 2 thigh plate, which is like 20 bucks. This also came from the same people who made all the other pieces you've seen, like the main body parts. But yeah, these are the thigh pieces. The pauldrons, or like a lot of people call them, shoulder pieces, and it just fits perfect on me. Now, when I got them, they were like sticking out like to here because they weren't wide enough. And I just took a heat gun and heated them up very slowly to where it was a little bit pliable, and then I pushed them against my shoulder to fit to shape. This is the only thing I really had to shape, but it just fits perfect. It's like proportionate to my body size. On this one, the mud horn right there is what's going on that pauldron, and then left pauldron's the same way. It's just heated up and formed to me. So what to expect in the next video that I'll be doing to my armor is, hopefully by the time I film my next video, I'll have tons of sandpaper, I'll have an airbrush gun, and I'll have the photopolymer resin and a Dremel, and we're going to go into detail step by step how I'm doing things. So what I'm going to be using to paint my armor with is an airbrush gun. What's going to happen is it's going to have filament primer to fill in any holes. Then I'm going to use like a 1000 to 1200 grit sandpaper or sanding block that has the hexagons on it, and I'm going to use some water. I'm going to wet sand it so it gets super smooth. Then I'm going to paint it a black, and then I'm going to hit it with gloss. I'm not going to use a gloss black, I'm probably just going to use a normal black, then hit it with a really nice gloss, and then I'm going to load up an airbrush gun with Alclad Chrome. I hope this video helps you locate items for your Mandalorian armor. These are all of my armor pieces except for that right thigh plate from season 2 that I need. Got to get the belts, the cape, and the flight suit and boots. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. Part 2 is coming soon. Like I said, money's gonna come around to where I can keep doing these things and make these videos for you. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up button. You can comment if you have a question. I'll try to answer it the best I can. And if you like it and you want to follow me along this journey, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Appreciate it. Thank you guys, and have a most excellent day.